All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Sports Podcast. And for the third part of the show, we're going to talk about the Knicks as they continue to struggle against the good teams. The game against the Celtics was a little bit close, but they got destroyed by the Cavs. And it's concerning. It is definitely concerning. This is a pattern here. This isn't a small sample size. Because right now they're 0-3 against the Celtics this year, and they're 0-2 against the Cavs. And then if you want to throw in a team from the Western Conference, they lost both games to the Thunder as well. And they got destroyed in those games too. But we go back to they played the Cavs on Friday night, and they lost 142-105. They got blown out on Friday. Donovan Mitchell, 27 points. Evan Mobley had 21. Jared Allen had 10. Karl Anthony Towns had 23. Brunson had 26. But, you're looking for someone else to step up. And they were missing Josh Hart. They got him back against the Celtics, so that helped. And the game was a little bit closer. But they need more contributions out of some of their other guys, like OG Anunoby. And Mikal Bridges, who, to be honest, I think has been a disappointment. And I think a lot of us can agree with that. I thought when the Knicks got Mikal Bridges, I thought they were going to be getting a much better player. But maybe you could say, well, you kind of overestimated him. They traded 5 first-round picks for him. 5. And, you kind of look back on that trade and, it hasn't really... Now, again, maybe it's too soon to say. But, we're almost done with the regular season here. And, Bridges, I just feel like has been an inconsistent player for the Knicks. That's just coming from me. But you need him to step up. And OG Anunoby, of course, missed some time. He's going to get it going again, you would imagine. Josh Hart's going to be playing hurt the rest of the year with the knee. But they need more than just Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns, because those guys have been unbelievable this year. Josh Hart's been unbelievable this year. Was not an all-star, but still. When he's playing, he's playing like his hair is on fire. And kind of the reason that he's hurt right now is because he plays hard. But it's just concerning that you're going up against these teams and they just have their way with you. These are the teams that are ahead of you right now. That's it. The Knicks are the 3rd seed. And you're playing against the Cavs team. You're playing against the Celtics team, and you can't beat them. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to go winless against them. And if they match up in the playoffs, the Knicks are going to, you would think, are going to win a game, right? Not a clean sweep. But it doesn't look good right now. Mitchell Robinson could be coming back, I think, this week. And we'll see if that makes a big difference. I think, it could at least get some of these players off their feet. Lengthens out the lineup. But I think what could end up happening is Mitchell Robinson is going to be coming off the bench. I think that's what's going to end up happening. But yeah, it's just when you look at this Knicks team, and they're a team that is built also on playing good defense. Well, you can't be having teams dropping 142 points against you. That's not what this team was built on last year. It just seems like that at times is just non-existent. So they got to figure it out. In the beginning of the year, you're like, okay, it's just some of these guys are getting used to playing with each other again. And, obviously the Karl Anthony Towns trade was another trade that kind of came out of nowhere. Obviously it was not to the same level as the Luka trade, but still, we were like, wow, the Knicks got Karl Anthony Towns. This is unbelievable. I didn't see that coming. And he's been great. So you're like, yeah, they got to get used to playing with each other. But now it's like, okay, we're close to the end of the regular season here. And it still doesn't seem like things are right. Now, if the team is fully healthy, let's see what they could do. Maybe Mitchell Robinson has more of an impact than we realize. But he's a guy that you're not getting a scorer. You're getting a guy that's going to be a rim protector, that's going to play defense, that's going to get rebounds. That's really what he's bringing to the table. You're not getting a scorer. But if he could stay on the court, he could be a valuable asset to the team in that respect. And that's why losing Isaiah Hartenstein, you look back on that, and you can't help but say, yeah, no, that was a tough loss for the Knicks, losing him. Now, he got hurt this year, but he was a valuable piece for them last year. Because he was the one that could score. Out of the two big men that they had last year, Hartenstein was the guy that could score. And brings the same thing to the table that Mitchell Robinson can. But they couldn't afford him. And he ended up going to the Thunder. And he's part of a really good team right now, the best team in the Western Conference. So, there's nothing you can do about it now. You got to play with what you got. So they got to figure things out here. Now, I don't want to go out on a limb here and say, yeah, this team is a fraud. No. They're struggling against these really good teams. I mean, the Cavs they got the best record in the entire NBA right now. It's them and the Thunder. And then the Celtics, they just won the championship last year. But you could also say, that game against the Bulls, I mean, they had to go into overtime. And the Bulls aren't that good. Right now, they're a playing team, but they're not a good team. You should be blowing this team out. I think they were double-digit favorites in that game. Yeah, right now they're the 10th seed. They're 22-35, and they're a playing team. And it took the Knicks having to go into overtime to knock them off. Yeah, 149-148. And they almost choked that game. Oh, wait, actually, no, that was against the Hawks. They won 113-111 against the Bulls. But still, the Hawks, they don't have the best record. Right now, they have a losing record, too, 26-31. So, yeah, and right now, they're locked into the third seed. I mean, that's probably where they're going to end up being. I mean, you got the Pacers behind them they're 14 games back of the Cavs for first place. But yeah, they're 4 games behind the Knicks. The Bucks are 4.5 games behind. Pistons are 16 back of first. But yeah, they're 6 games back of the Knicks. How about the Pistons though, turning things around? I think we did mention that briefly last week. But good for them because it's been rough for them. And, they got Cade Cunningham leading the charge. They're a playoff team right now. So, right now, and that's who the Knicks will be playing in the first round. And I think that could be a tight series. I think the Knicks should win that series. If the playoffs were to start right now, I would like the Knicks to win that. But then you're probably going to be playing the Celtics in the second round. And that's going to be very tough. We'd be getting Pacers-Bucks again, like last year, and you're hoping that you get a healthy Bucks team this time around. But, yeah, it is going to be a tough path for the Knicks. Right now, they look like they could be at least a second-round exit, which is disappointing. Because of all the moves that they made, all the hype that was surrounded this team going into the year, and you're only going to be a second-round exit? Can't go any further? You're going to make it to the second round, and it's going to be the same thing? be disappointing. So they got some things they got to figure out. But yeah, let's see what happens when they get Mitchell Robinson back. Now, I don't think he's going to come in and be the savior, but it's another body. It doesn't hurt you. It definitely helps this team. But guys got to start playing better. Bridges is one of them. Anunoby. Those are the guys that need to step up and help this team out. And the bench is what it is. I like Deuce McBride. Campaign gives them minutes, but they need help. And let's see if Mitchell Robinson is the missing piece. I wouldn't say that, but he's gonna help this team out. Let's see how they look when they get him back. But let me know what you guys think, though, about the Knicks and their struggles against these better teams. It's definitely a concern. It's definitely a concern. And you're hoping that, if you're a Knicks fan, that they could figure this out. But we'll see. So we are going to take our next break. And then when we come back, we'll get into some football stuff. We'll talk about Shedeur Sanders. He will not be throwing at the Combine. He's going to be focusing more on the interviews at the Combine. So we're going to talk about that. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? Should we be making a big deal out of that or not? We'll get into that when we come back from our next break. So we are finished with the basketball talk. A few basketball topics to start off the show. How about that? But we'll get into a couple of football topics, starting off with Shedeur Sanders. And then, of course, we will talk about the lovely football team that I root for, the New York Giants, and their season. So make sure to stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Sports Podcast.